Hi guys, I'm here and welcome to the workshop. If you follow my channel, then you probably already know my Trek Madone, which is my primary bike. I use this for the most time, more than all of my other bikes. And I've had it for more than 2 years now and done more than 30,000 kilometers on it, and I've changed basically every single component compared to the first build, apart from very recently the integrated cockpit that comes with the Madone. And I was quite happy with it, didn't have any major issues, but the sizing on these is quite limited. So I got the 120mm stem version with a 40mm bar, or 40 centimeter bar, sorry. But the problem is, if I wanted to stick with this narrow bar, I couldn't have any longer stem options. So it was quite limiting in terms of reach. And now, a bit later on, I really started noticing it that I could do with some more reach in there. Until recently, it wasn't really possible to change this cockpit, but with the launch of the Madone 9.0, Trek have released this different top cap cover that enables you to use basically any standard stem and handlebar with this bike and frame set. So that was the first thing that triggered, my urge to change. And then it was the release of the long-awaited Enve SES Aero stem handlebar combo with the computer mount. So I really decided to go for it, and I chose the longest 140mm stem option and the narrowest 40 centimeter bar, although it isn't really 40 centimeters in a traditional sense. So these are the components you need, and the computer mount is also quite necessary because the space here is pretty tight, so there's no really other option to put your stem, and just rubber banding it to the stem wouldn't be a very neat solution. So what is special about this handlebar and stem? So let's start with the stem itself. It fits any 1 1/8 inch fork steerer. It's full carbon, but that's not the special part of it. The special part is actually the fact that you can get, or that you get 4 different stem options in just one package. So this comes from lengths from 100mm to 140mm, which I have here. But actually, if you look at it, there's this tiny little sleeve inside the stem itself, and this is interchangeable, and it has you get 2 of them. Each have 2 positions. The one I have here is the 17-degree negative rise option. And if you turn this around, you get a standard 7-degree rise, or drop in this case. And you have another one which locks the angle at 12 degrees, and you can have plus or minus 10.5 degrees, millimeters in terms of length of the stem. So yeah, this really enables you to fine-tune your position. Then the handlebar. What's special about that? It's a full foil Super Aero handlebar, and the neat thing is that it's quite a flared design. So it has a very compact drop. It's super narrow at the tops, just 35 centimeters, and flares out to 40 in the drops. And this enables you to have, as you can see, huge wrist clearance for sprinting out of the saddle, which is a likely scenario for this kind of handlebar and stem setup. And then we have the computer mount, which bolts on directly to the top cap of the stem. It's a full aluminum, super sturdy, super stiff unit made by K-Edge for Enve, and you get a Wahoo tab and also a Garmin tab included, and it just fits right there. Another neat feature is that the mount is actually designed so that the computer has no aerodynamic impact at all, allegedly, and by looking at it, I think it isn't that hard to believe. So yeah, basically getting rid of the integrated handlebar gives you a ton of options if you need something special, like I did here, because there's no really any other way to add reach to this bike anymore. You just need this little headset cover, which is different than which comes standard on this bike or this frame set. Although with the Madone frame sets that I've built up most recently for customers, you also get this option and also the integrated one in the price of the frame set. By the way, this if you want to buy it aftermarket, it's hugely expensive, more than 80 euros for a piece of plastic, but yeah, I think it was worth it after all. Of course, with this setup you don't get the cables fully and completely integrated like with the integrated bar, but still I don't think it really spoils or is too much worse. If you look at it, it's still an extremely sleek design because, well, the cables enter here and go all the way through the frame as normal. And what I've done is I've put a piece of shrink wrapped the two brake cables together. Of course, it would be much more messy with the mechanical setup, but with this one it's very neat still. Of course, this little top part has a bit of a funky shape, but if you look at it from the distance, nothing is very obvious. You can also notice that I have one spacer underneath, and that's not really to chicken out, but if you look at the standard stem, it has quite a lot of girth in it. In this area it's quite tall, has a lot of stack, so the Enve stem is quite a bit slimmer. So yeah, you might say, but then why did I cut the fork then? Well, it's for a simple reason. When I sell this frame set, I want to sell it with the integrated bar that goes with it, and if I were to cut this flush, so I don't need the spacer, it would no longer fit safely. So that's the reason I have it like this. But still, I think the 17-degree drop compensates for that little 2mm spacer over there. So, am I happy with my new position? Well, I've only done one ride on it just yet, but I think being able to stretch out more and going for a little more drop, I think I'm not just faster but actually more comfortable, because my back is just in a more relaxed position, more naturally. Also, the very narrow hood part of the handlebar is quite natural to me. Even 40 centimeters over there was a bit too much, if I'm honest. So I think I might lose a watt or maybe 1.5 from these exposed cables, but I can save 10 or even 20 from a better position and even be more comfortable while doing that. The assembly is also much easier than with the standard bar. And I have to say, the thing that surprised me the most and has the most noticeable improvement is actually the way these handlebars ride. Because, well, the standard bar and stem setup is quite stiff, quite harsh and clattery. I don't have any foam lining in there either, because when I first set it up I didn't have it. So it also rattles a bit. The cables do rattle over rough roads. This one has a silky smooth ride, dampens vibration extremely well, and I was extremely surprised by this. Much better ride quality overall than the standard bar. And of course, since the cables are tighter routed, they don't have to be internally routed, so it's quieter as well. So overall, this was surprising, but the position is much better overall, although I still have to do some longer rides on it. And a final thing I wanted to say, I've also applied my standard grip tape, which is, I will repeat that, many people have asked this, is the finishing tape you get for the Lizard Skins DSP tape. So this is just that. No, you can't buy it separately. I can't buy it separately. It just comes with the tapes. I've used a lot of tapes on customers' bikes. I have some of these left over, so that's what I've used. And this adds a ton of grip in case you want to go in a time trial-like position, and it works extremely well. It's super thin, quite stealthy. One thing I've done on this one, normally you get these little white logos. I've blacked these out with a marker, with a permanent marker, so it's a bit of a more stealthy finish. And if you've noticed, I don't have a saddle anymore. I've sold my dash saddle and will get something a little bit different, and that will come in black color, so I might be changing to black bar tape soon as well. Okay, so these are the modifications I've done to my Trek Madone 9, and yeah, basically people have also asked if I'm getting the new Trek Madone SLR. Well, this basically does the same thing that Trek have done, apart from the different brakes, but I'm happy with these, so I think this bike will do me good service for at least another 2 years, so no big news in this front. Okay, if you'd like to know more about my other bikes and how those are set up for different disciplines, and don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.